On this Monday, welcome back to another edition of XFeed. My name is the Schiller. If this is your first time coming to hang out and see what we do, we cover the market and all the crazy things that are going on. It's been a super volatile weekend. We're going to go over some of the stats from the previous world happenings and how the markets reacted to that. We're going to go over some things with Candy Digital. As if you guys seen on my X page, we are doing a giveaway for some rare packs, which is kind of neat. So if you're wanting to enter that, be sure to check out my X profile. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into off the rip here. Shortly, they are going to have the Jackson Holiday first hit. It's like $50 if you're interested. Just highlighting that because if there's any hardcore MLB fans out there, you might be interested in such. So on April 12th, which is, I think, the Friday, over $855 million has been liquidated from the Bitcoin and crypto market in the last day. People are super levered up, apparently. 855 million people going into the halving. What a wild number. What a wild correction that it is. And we might not be totally done with that just yet. And amongst that, Kid Arcade, how are you? There was a specific hour where $210 million was liquidated. Of course, if you check the charts at all over the weekend, you would have seen the mass fluctuation that was. As you can see, again, just a complete drop off there. And then it kind of happened again. There was a lot of like misreporting, if you will. What's going on, Shay? How are you? Where I don't know if it's necessarily like misreporting, but there was these headline saying, oh, there's going to be like an attack sent back, like a response. And then everybody, the market's just super emotionally charged right now. And I'm curious what it's going to mean in these next few days. We'll end things off with a prediction from somebody saying that we are going much lower. See what you guys think over that. And Justin, Bitcoin is being taken off exchanges in record numbers leading up to the halving, which just basically means there's not as much available. But back in January of 2020, there was over 3 million on exchanges, and now all the way down to 2. Holy sweet suffering succotash. It's a little bit of a triple. You guys ever have a triple coffee from somewhere? Wow, what an absolute rush those things are. Did it once, absolutely never doing it again. Okay, so other side from Yuga highlighted there behind the scenes for Meebits in the metaverse. And it kind of reminds me, everybody's making these avatars, everybody's making this IP, everybody's trying to build for the metaverse, but we need experiences that people want to go and experience, right? There's very few things that are specifically within the metaverse. I think all the extra work and stuff that are being put into this is cool and awesome, but we are going to need a place where people want to hang out. So that might be an area to kind of watch who's doing what. The LA Times just did a feature on Angel Baby and what we're cooking up over at We Are Hume with virtual artists. On-chain music is just getting started. This is on the back of Coachella, where we saw Coy Lorraine have Doodles rocking in the background. The song was like kind of it went like super viral, and I don't know if it was like because it was live, but I was like, I don't know, kind of got like this weird vibe to it, but it's really cool. The Doodles is doing that, and for the Hume, which is like an on-chain studio, is what Doodles is doing with Lil Wayne, and in general, actually a record label in a way, which goes back to Shara Senderoff from Futureverse talking about the Gen AI, the licensed music, and them obviously being partnered with Doodles for the Third Kingdom. Is there something more to the eye that we don't see? Speaking of eye, Harry Swan, if we were in person, we look eye to eye, and I'd say that's a guy with some big influence. OpenSea Coachella collab weekend 1, final count, 125,000 people attended, and OpenSea tried selling 1,000. And it hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, have you seen these? If you guys have been watching XFeed, we highlighted that at the time, and I was like, I Okay, so one, I think it's cool that Coachella is trying to offer that extra experience with that like collectible aspect and whatever. It's weird that they went and chose AVAX as a specific currency for that. I feel like just in general, it's one of the fewer held like larger coins that it could be. And it just, I don't know. It kind of felt weird. Anywho, IGN shared the Uzuki anime trailer to their 18 million subscribers on YouTube. So at the time, it had about 1,000 views. I thought we'd recheck that. And if you haven't seen, Uzuki is basically saying, hey, our first first episode, like full one, is happening. Hernar. Go down, brother. Yeah, and thanks so much for that 30 months. This guy is crazy. And it shows that it's about 42,000 views right now, 2 days into it. And just for comparison, for obviously Ready Player One with their Battle Royale, it had 388,000 a month ago. So every time that IGN posts something that's NFT related, feel free to tag me, or I'll just try to keep updated if I see it across my timeline. Apparently Netflix created a documentary saying NFT WTF, or at least that's the name of it. Damien Hirst, Beeple, and other early adopters share their perspective on the non-fungible token's rapid rise from tech curiosity to digital art form. Breaking, Uniswap Labs increased the fee on the swaps through the Uniswap Labs interfaces and expanded the set of fee-eligible trades. The new policy now changes 0.25% on all swaps through the UI and wallet, except stablecoin pairs and wrapping and But they flipped that switch. Are people going to be mad that people I mean, think about Blur, right? One of the main things when Blur first came out, and I remember doing like a video on this, was that they could vote and say, hey, we're going to switch on a fee for Blur. I mean, now that we've seen all the marketplaces and what's kind of happened with that, I feel that that would not go over extraordinarily well. But what's going to happen with fees within the blockchain space overall, especially after we saw a lot of the Ethereum collections go over and try to force things on Magic Eden. So Fred Krueger is a huge Bitcoin bull here, and this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is at a 3-year high, but he's saying that the ETH story is dying. The Ethereum Foundation is under investigation. Wells notice for Uniswap, no ETH ETF next month, which we'll get to another headline about Hong Kong, which apparently a whole bunch of ETFs just got approved today. NFTs are dead and moving to ordinals. This is, I mean, in terms of the profitability, the flippability of NFTs, absolutely. Ordinals is getting a lot more attention, especially with the runes, et cetera, et cetera. Solana attacking from left flank and ultrasound money narrative dead. I don't necessarily agree with like all of this or even like half of it, but interesting to see the narratives that are being put out there. Still one of my favorite esports jerseys ever is FaZe Clan X Murakami. Again, we've highlighted Murakami here and there, but I do think that the clone X with the Murakami drip is going to be something that's really cool, but just kind of highlighting an older FaZe Clan Murakami thing before I'm not going to lie, I didn't know who that artist was until NFT, so I'm getting cultured from it. Breaking, the Bitcoin, not Blitcoin, plunges $6,000 in minutes after reports of Iran launching up to 100 drones towards Israel in retaliation for their embassy being bombed by Israel earlier this month. So this happened like just in a split second. The market's completely tanked. The timeline was, oh my goodness gracious. And of course we have bounced back a little bit from this, but people are still, they're not feeling too great out of that. And so Bill Noble here highlighting a tweet that said, these are the sort of sell-offs where the normies who recently joined us regret their decision and don't touch crypto again until the next all-time high. I think that this is a very good take because obviously there's the systemic risk of, everything collapsing, but the narrative is really the monetary platforms that we use. This system is getting completely upended, potentially, depending on, your point of view. Maybe it happens in a couple of years, maybe it happens in 100 years, but that narrative is getting out there and it's much stronger than it was previously, but agreed. Anybody that's newer that got in the space is like, yeah, I'm never touching that again until it goes back up. Looks like we all get one more chance to jump on the bullet train before it leaves the station, says Elf. Again, another kind of bullish aspect here, but let's look at the actual charts to compare. Bitcoin down 10% immediate Israel war. Pulling up this old chart I did at the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war, which I remember at the time because Doodles were like 13 ETH. Well, I mean, I remember that specifically, but then they dropped down to like 10 instantly, and then they started recovering. The whole market took a huge dump, and then again kind of recovered. So when you look at this, the Russia-Ukraine invade here happened, and then markets, and then as you can see, like literally a day later, things started going back up and recovering, and like 3 days later it was back to where it was. So again, do we call these a shakeout? I guess so. Back in December of 23, Yuga Labs made this video. It's pretty good. I don't know why we haven't seen much since. Oh. Okay, so that's for Legends of the Mara, right? And we highlighted the other day, and I'll try to bring it up right quickly here so you guys can see it once again, is like that was a fantastic trailer. It looked, really, really cool. And then for the game itself, it was kind of just like, again, this sort of passive thing. But, when we're looking at how long it's taken within the blockchain gaming space, I wonder if there's more here than meets the eye, where we recently had the Futureverse announcement about the why am I forgetting? The material world, where basically they're like, hey, we're going to try to create this economy, but it's going to be you guys that are, mining the gold, chopping the trees, whatever, and whatever resources you guys get from this, it's going to be for all these other experiences. And that's what it feels like this is kind of going in the direction of. And I might be totally wrong with it, but it does feel weird that the focus has been on kind of like these extraordinarily passive games where it only really makes sense if it's really seeding all these other kind of worlds around it. So GCR, 8.5 million views. This is a guy who apparently shorted Luna. And has been on the sidelines without commentating per se, but not necessarily on the sidelines with his bags. Sounds like he's all in. If you've been sidelined, I believe this is a good opportunity to scale into high conviction tokens. If you're fully invested, just survive, hold your spot positions, and do not capitulate. Someone once said liquidations are a forced transfer of wealth from traders who need leverage to wealthy spot buyers. I was enjoying retirement from social media, but don't want to see my brothers get shaken out when the future is still so bright. And I think that it's just hilarious because if you go out and you talk to like 10, 20 people, probably not even 1 out of 20. Good morning. Guy who spent $4.3 million on a picture of a dog advises crypto Twitter to buy the dip. Crypto Twitter is no longer worried about World War III. And again, GCR was the one, if you've heard of the dog with hat, the meme coin for that, I guess the lady, we highlighted the story at the time, but the lady who took the photo, that's been basically the face of all that, they sold that photo as an NFT and GCR bought it for 4.3 mil. So that person made a bag. Bitcoin Punk apparently sold for 2 Bitcoin, $134,000. DGMD saying, why dude, just buy a real punk for the same price. IP infringement on Bitcoin. Kind of agree. I mean, it's a derivative. Everybody always says derivatives go to zero, right? Well, okay, here's another derivative. Apparently, the Goblin Town is trying to cash in on the Bitcoin puppets and trying to make a one that...
Both China and South Korea were amongst the poorest nations in the world. And today, basically, these are two of the wealthiest countries in the world. But it became wealthy because they had a respect for property rights and introduced capitalism into the economic system, which basically gave the foundation. And so even though the world obviously is inequitable and there's still a lot of room to grow to make it fairer, we certainly remember a time when things did not have property rights. And I think in the West, they take it for granted. And that's also one of the reasons why I think in the West, a lot of gamers don't like NFTs because they think of it as a kind of digital capitalism. The rejection of crypto broadly isn't a rejection of ownership. It's a rejection of money, and the rejection of money as in, it's from their perspective sort of created a great injustice in the physical world, right? In the sense that the rich get richer and the poor basically get poorer. And so they don't want to introduce that type of system in the digital world, which ostensibly has this quasi-meritocratic system of, when you play a game, supposedly you can get achievements just through skill. You don't have to pay your way into it, right? All the things you buy in games are cosmetic. But here's the irony. You can actually pay money to level you up. You can buy accounts. Like people do this all the time already.
True.
There's an actual trade worth in the hundreds of millions, actually billions of dollars that does this. And so it's a natural thing that people want to do. It's just that I guess there are people who resist it because they fear that money will have the same effect in the digital world as it has in the physical world. Which, by the way,
okay, so here let's have a quick conversation for a second. So I started playing RuneScape, old school RuneScape, a while ago. Kind of stopped, but I got into it, and it is a game that requires like a grind, right? Like RuneScape is not something that you can just start playing and suddenly be like top of the leaderboard. I remember as a kid, my dad was like, yo, have you like beat the game? Have you done like what you need to yet? Like you're playing a lot. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't exactly work that way. But going back into this now, because it's such a grind, what you can do is they have it where you can spend, right? Like I can pay $8.99 Canadian, and I can basically get 11 million gold coins within the game. And so that would help buy things to make it quicker. And the other route for that would just be going through like the normal notions that could take upwards of, let's just say 20 hours. Let's use like a bold number here. Let's say it takes 20 hours to get to a certain point. Or if I spend $8.99, I get these, gold coins. I can then only, take 2 to 3 hours to get through it, and it saves me that amount of time. So it depends. Do I value the $9, or do I value an extra, spending an extra 13 hours doing something? And that happens in a lot of games, a lot of ones that were originally kind of against that aspect. They're kind of opened up to it now. Yo, Hypnotoad, what's going on? All right, guys, the other day we highlighted how you're not supposed to give pre-sale tokens out, and another one rugged here in the meme space. Son of a gun. Mutant apes, holy sweet mother of pearl. When you look in the US dollar value, and we can use this for any collection, right? Like don't say, oh yeah, this is just like an ape thing. Like there's a lot of different collections, but $100,000 was the I guess floor at a point, and now it's sitting at about 6,000. Kind of crazy to see what the hype of things were, and I don't even know how we can like explain it, right? Like, was it all these like hidden trailers? Was it all, hidden buyers, kind of like the SBF with the BYC purchase for the auction at Christie's? how the hell did we get to the valuations that it was? Or is that actually what it can be if you have something that is widely accepted, people widely want to be a part of it, et cetera, et cetera? All right, Mario Nawfall. This guy's been all out there, and now he's shilling some random crypto coin. And I don't mind his spaces. I think it's cool that there's people out there trying to give like real world news, and he comes from the crypto space. But within this like paid shill thing for whatever FOMO club is, it says no gatekeepers, fully decentralized, community owned, no rug pulls. If you have to say no rug pulls in an ad for what you're doing, nope. And next, the base ecosystem is on fire, showcasing tremendous growth. It's prime time for meme coins to experience a major surge. Guys, we talk all the time about the saturation of NFTs. Holy sweet mother of pearl. This is, I guess, what some of the base meme landscape is looking like right now. Obviously, there's Solana, et cetera, and I think that we are still going to see some ones that end up performing extraordinarily well within that. But it's like, damn, the narrative is like, just launch a coin, send it. People don't care, period. And so I think we're going to see a lot more individuals getting into it. The only problem I have, and I keep saying this, is I follow like a fair amount of people. Obviously, we save tweets from everybody on this show, and the people that are shilling one thing completely change to some other BS the next day. And I'm like, listen, you lack conviction, ladies and gentlemen, about the product. Again, we highlighted another person who was like an influencer that got on something before and was saying, oh my God, this is the only company or protocol that's done X, and somebody who was like a project holder of something this guy's invested in and a part of and gotten a huge allocation was like, no, it's not. You literally invested in this other thing. So again, most people are here just for cash. So be aware of that. This will change how you buy, sell, bridge, and stake. It's going to change everything. Wayfinder, we've talked about this a little bit. We had Yo Jeremy on a few weeks ago. But for Wayfinder AI, as you can see here, it's got an agent that's swapping a bunch of tokens. It's bridging, liquidity pool, stake. Some people don't know what the hell this is, but apparently you can use an agent for that. Here is a demonstration of it. This is like 11 minutes long, so we're probably not going to watch the whole thing. But if this is interesting, we'll see, and I'll try to play it
through the first prototype for the Wayfinder that uses
on a little faster speed.
And the Wayfinder knowledge graph to put through some transactions on EVM chains. So we'll go ahead and sign in with our wallet here.
Okay, we're signing in. Nice. Says agent processing.
So it has access to a bunch of Web 2 and Web 3 libraries, which allows it to inform the user about whatever they might be interested in within the cryptosphere. You can see it's returned a summary of some of the trending tokens for the user to check out. Cool.
Yeah, my face is in the way for a little bit of this, but basically in the bottom here, it's saying like Gala 10 set, non-playable coin orbs, Solana Celestial are some of the new and hot tokens in the ecosystem. It doesn't say if they're like up or down. It just says hot.
Do I have any of these?
It's on X and YouTube, so Buffalo.
The bot has access to its own wallet and can check its balances. It receives some summary information as well as gets a little bit more context about each of the assets. So that you can have better conversations about them.
Okay, cool. So we can look things up.
Talk about a specific token. Gala sounds interesting. What is that?
Okay, so it's going to explain tokens. All right, I mean, listen, 10-minute video. Let's show me what's going on, brother. These people are crazy. I still think it'll be cool, but it looks like AI agents are going to be able to swap things out. Have you guys seen the Cybertruck? This is a crazy story. Check this shit out.
So apparently the Cybertruck has a stop zone, and I might know why. Now, it's got something to do with the accelerator pedal.
Look at the interior of the car, too. Kind of funky.
My Cybertruck that pedal looks different, right? It's missing this. So a couple days ago, I'm driving. And let me see if I can get a good view here. I'm driving, and this goes here. As I'm driving, this slid up and wedged itself just like that. Right now it's not clipped on, so it's kind of hard to see, but this wedged itself right there. And as you can see, based on the design of the floorboard, this sliding up, and the way this was still hooked onto the pedal, It held the accelerator down 100%, full throttle. Now, I was luckily had a clear mind, didn't panic, and holding the brake down overrides the pedal. So I was able to stop the car, but anytime I lift the brake, it would start accelerating again. I stopped the car, put it in park, got out. At first I thought the pedal was broken, but then I realized that nope, this was wedged down here under this little section here, not allowing.
That is crazy and also kind of terrifying. Apple is no longer the largest iPhone maker in the world, apparently. Samsung taking the market share at 20.8%. The monopoly has changed. OMG, I love these, says Coy Leray. As previously, I was kind of on the watches, if you remember. I own that. I was like, I feel like it could have like a little bit of like extra flair to it. Maybe, you know, the kind of not over the top aspect that it's just kind of super colorful with the Doodles branding on it. But again, there was only like a couple hundred of these. And so now we got those influencers out there shilling things. And I mean, maybe these things are going to be going flying on secondary here shortly. Justin, Hong Kong approves spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF application. So we have different problems within the States, different crypto regulations in general. However, the Bitcoin ETF was approved in the US, and now Hong Kong is saying, hey, we are doing a spot Bitcoin ETF and an Ethereum ETF, which is spicy. And a lot of people, including GCR, has been saying that Asia is going to lead this next run. A dormant address containing 50 Bitcoin, $3 million, has just been activated after 14 years. Okay, so one of the reasons why I talk about this stuff, because I think it's going to be relevant and, you know, just kind of be included into things, makes you more aware to what could potentially happen. So Canada just getting $3,000 cash from your own money out of your bank account, and they want to know what it's for. That's only about $2,000 US. And, you know, you might not have had any problems with the bank whatsoever, but let's watch this video and go kind of back and cover it.
I can't, well, wait, I don't understand. What are you talking about?
So I will either give you a bank draft, or if you're going to get cash, I will need an invoice for the car purchase.
Why? No, I'd like to. It's for the car's payments for in cash. I can't use a bank draft.
Are you buying from like a private?
Yeah, it's private.
person?
It's literally from my friend.
From your friend?
Yeah, but he wants it in cash.
Can he give you like anything that you're purchasing from him?
No, I don't. You don't need that. Bro, what is it? I'm only asking for 3.
And
What is this? It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account.
Yeah, so I can.
You said that what's the maximum limit you can give a withdrawal to a customer? It's $3,000 on the date. You've already mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah, not today.
Why not today?
Today I would need a bank draft, or I would get you invoice.
But what you don't? You need.
So basically, this goes on for another minute, and the guy's not able to get the money. So I think there is going to be a huge revolt, and this happened to me once because I walked into the bank once, and I was like, hey, I want to do like a transfer. And they were like, oh, is this for crypto? We can't do it. And I was like, all right, let me talk to a manager or something. It's not your money. When you guys realize that shit, you're going to lose your mind. When they're like, oh, we can only do certain things if you try to take out cash. Once you realize whatever you do is in this bank and they can decide whether they're going to allow you to take it out or spend it, or you need all these things, you have to answer these questions, or potentially trying to block things. This is going to be the biggest revolution ever. The monetary system is going to be changed so quickly from this. And that's honestly, this is one of the main reasons that I'm still doing this thing, because I think that everybody is going to have to become their own bank if they want to. They'll realize the BS of the system. And this is like $3,000. It is a small amount. Hey, I want to go buy a car off a buddy. Oh, you can't. Sorry. That's ridiculous. Insanity. Absolute insanity. This might sound crazy to most, and I'm not 100% convicted to it, but I can absolutely see us touching 51,000 before the Bitcoin halving. It makes sense, maybe even by or starting Wednesday. Let's see how this plays out. Very bullish and ready to deploy if this is so. I don't know if people have, all the side money ready to throw into the markets here, but I guess if you do, a lot of people today, talking extraordinarily bullish. So does that mean that the actual outcome is going to be bearish? We have the halving coming up. A lot of people have broken down the charts over the past weeks, including us here, where it's been usually pretty good afterwards. But Hunar, Crypto, Buffalo Space, Hunar 2.0, Trader Pops, Harry Swan, Shane, Kid Arcade. I appreciate you guys coming in and tuning in for today. Of course, we will be back tomorrow. And damn, man, if that video about the Canada Bank thing happens more and more at other places, other countries, it's all about knowledge. Life is about knowledge. But again,